All right, we're back with another tip on how to achieve your goals in the upcoming year. This is resist the urge to allow negativity to creep in and crush your progress or derail you altogether. Now, here's what I mean by that. Every day is not going to be perfect, right? You can follow every tip that I just gave you, and every day is just simply not going to be perfect. You're going to have those days where you're not eating right, you don't get your exercise, you don't pick up the phone and make those sales calls, you don't, you spent a little bit more at the mall than what you had budgeted, so you're not sticking to your budget goals. Whatever that is, you're going to have those days that your brain might say, your little negative Nelly, right? That little internal head trash might jump up and say, well, you really failed. Okay, this is where you really have to retrain your brain. If you allow that voice to become the dominant voice, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not going to crop up from time to time, because it does. I've been involved in neuroscience and brain training for literally decades. It's been almost 3 decades that I have been very entrenched in the whole neuroscience, neuropsychology world. And I still will fall into this. I will still, at the end of some days, go, oh, my goodness, you didn't get anything accomplished. What's wrong with you? It still happens, even though I know what it does to my brain. So, what I have learned to do fairly well, though, is stop that. Fairly well. I've learned to instantly or almost instantly, okay, maybe it's the next morning. Anyways, I've learned to go, wait a minute. Didn't work today. Didn't work up to this moment, but from this moment on, it can. Just because you fell off the wagon and had that bite of the cheesecake or ate the whole cheesecake, that doesn't mean that 5 minutes from now you're going to repeat that activity. Just because I didn't get my workout done today doesn't mean that I'm going to miss it every day, right? Just because I didn't make those phone calls or I didn't check off everything on my to-do list for my business doesn't mean that tomorrow needs to be the same way. So if we have to keep those voices in check. Don't suppress them. Don't suppress them, because when you suppress them, they keep popping up more often. It's a matter of addressing them and just literally having that internal conversation where you're like, okay, yeah, today was a really stinky day. It is what it is. It was what it was. But you know what? I'm going to breathe. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I am going to hit the ground running, and I am going to look at my action board, and I am going to read my brain dump notes. I am going to read my goals again, right? And I'm going to get right back on it. I'm going to get right back on it. And you can even do that if this happens during the middle of the day, right? If it happens during the middle of the day, you feel like you're completely derailed, take those moments, take that deep breath, in through the nose, out through the nose. Remember that. All right, where do I need to be right now? What I need to be doing right now? Because I can brood all day long, I can brood all week long, I can brood all year long at what I didn't do right yesterday or didn't do right in the last hour. But the only way I'm going to change that patterning, I'm going to change that internal thought process, is if I go, that was yesterday, that was 5 minutes ago, that was an hour ago, that's not now. So what do I need to do? Let's reconfigure, let's refocus, and let's move from now forward. Okay? It may take a little bit of extra internal dialogue, maybe a little bit of meditation to kind of think, okay, why did I just get derailed? What just pushed me off? Why did I do blah, 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 right? Which is a little bit more work, which, by the way, we're going to do in our 5-day challenge lab that we are doing coming up in January. That's right. You're going to want to get in it. You'll see the link in the show notes here, but it's the 11th through the through the 17th, jump on it and we'll go into this in more detail. But the point is, the tip is stop the brain from running away with yourself in that negative. Silence those internal voices, or shift those internal voices into positive internal voices where it's like, okay, wait a minute, that was 5 minutes ago, that was an hour ago, that was yesterday. This is it. I can fresh start right now. I can fresh start in this very second. Even if this very second is 10 a.m. in the morning, I can make from 10 a.m. on today better than it was from the time I woke up to 10 a.m. Makes sense? So start to make that shift. Start training your brain to make that shift almost immediately. Just because you had a failure, right? You had a learning experience. Let's move on, because right now is a new minute. It's a new second, right? Everything can change from this second on. It just takes changing this.